new if it's net. This is the quickie for the major cause of infection, disease, and disaster. If you want to see the long version, 2 parts, the first link of the part 1 will be down in the description. So let's start. So first of all, let's say that the majority of deaths that's going to happen during disease won't be the infectious disease, but more blunt trauma, cross-related injury, and burn injuries for the disaster, any of those that we're going to see. But infectious disease is more like something that happens as a post disaster, not so much, but the majority of death will happen from the other categories. There's about 3 type of disaster: the hydro-meteorological disaster, so like anything that has to do with water or the weather, the geophysical disaster, earthquake, volcanoes, and geomorphological disaster, so or climate change, so change that you do to the land that creates a little bit more disasters. There's 3 phases as well. The first one is about 4 days, and that's where you're going to see most of the traumas and the crushing injuries and stuff. Phase 2 and phase 3, you can start seeing some infectious disease because you have waterborne infections, and some the disease after phase 3 is because people go back to their community and stuff, and so they can bring and create a little bit more endemic and outbreaks. There's 6 diseases that the World Health Organization put on the list of concern, but most of them, besides influenza, we don't really have a big reservoir over here, so they're not very present. Beside the bubonic plague, which in some part of the United States they do have, and so if you live near one of those zones, I would recommend to go and so go to CDC and kind of look if you're near one of those reservoirs. Overcrowding, it could be a problem post disaster, and so some of the disease are measles, meningitis, influenza, diarrheal illness, and tuberculosis. They can be an issue. Measles, if you're vaccinated, it kind of decreased, but you can still have people without the vaccination, so they could have cases. Meningitis is kind of an issue even with in people now. I mean, I still see it once in a while in emergency, so it can be an issue. But vaccination, again, for a lot of those diseases, can be a good prevention of it. Influenza, if it's in the season, it could be a problem. And diarrheal illness, we'll do a separate video just on that, but basically try to cut the chain of feces and that goes into your water, so basically, and so then you're gonna stop the circle, and you'll decrease your risk of diarrheal dizziness. And basically, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And tuberculosis can be an issue. There is a little bit of a reservoir, but in Katrina, it was only like 4 cases out of everybody that kind of was present in there, so not that much of a big thing, I think, for some of this, but it can be, especially if you live near some zone in the United States. Again, I would recommend that you go to the CDC and follow on the maps and see the tuberculosis rate in your area. People at greater risk for mold, that's one talk that not many people talk about, but if you have water and it recedes after that and it stays on your place, people with immune compromise and asthma or allergies could be breeding the mold. And so recognizing the mold, there's basically, you can see it, so if you have anything that discolored in your walls and stuff, that's probably mold. And the smell as well, the bad odor, musty, earthy smell, or foul stench, then you most likely have it. So then if you have to go to that zone for whatever reason, wear a mask or something like that, but be recognizing that some of those molds could go into your lungs and basically now have respiratory issues. So this was the quickie presentation for the infectious disease. Hopefully you like it. Talk to you soon.